So welcome to another episode on the channel. In this one, we are interviewing my friend, Nicole Baranowski. She is the founder of Hairstrong. This is a podcast style video, so I'm very excited to be able to put this one out before the year is over, because if this podcast doesn't get you excited for setting goals, achieving what you dream of in life, and showing you that really anything's possible if you put your mind to it, I will be shocked. I've known Nicole for a very long time now, and it's been incredible to see her 5 or 6 year journey now of starting Hairstrong basically at the tail end of her university career to now seeing it really thrive and be successful. Her and I actually did a vendor market recently together at a fitness competition, and it was wild to see how many people came by her booth to pick up her product who have had it in the past, who love what she sells. So if you've never heard of Hairstrong before, it's essentially a hair tie that doesn't fall out of your hair. It's designed for athletes, but really anybody looking for the ultimate hair tie is definitely going to find the solution with Nicole's product. Also, I've had friends who have been skeptical about her product in the past, and I can honestly tell you she's converted everybody who's tried it to someone being in love with it. So if you're looking for an incredible podcast that shows you how you can build a business, how you can be resilient in the face of challenges, and of course, how you can meet adversity and overcome it and turn things that you maybe think are failures into successes, this is the podcast for you. So with that, let's jump on into today's episode and my conversation with Nicole. All right. So I'm actually really excited because
yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I've wanted to do this for a while now. I feel like we've been talking about it for quite some time.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
And then we've never made it happen. We finally get to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you have a really unique story to share too, that most people, I think a young entrepreneur wants to hear, like, especially if they're doubting it. So the starting tradition then to kind of kick things off on this podcast is with a funnier question. So I always ask people, if you were in a foreign country, anywhere in the world, and you just landed from the airport, and the Uber driver that you got asks you who you are and what you do, what's your response?
Well, I'll usually start off with my name. So, hi, my name is Nicole. And I think in terms of like what I do, I do what I want.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I don't start out with like my title, like, oh yeah, I start this business and I have this business that I sell products, or I guess I wouldn't even go into detail of that, but it's because like right now in my life, this is the vessel or this is the vehicle I'm using to create the person that I want to become. And so yes, I have Hairstrong and yes, I have this business, but if it was introducing myself to someone I never knew, it's like, yeah, I do what I currently want to do, which is this business in my life.
And they go, what business?
Well, I'd say Hairstrong. And then I'd go into, they're adjustable athletic hair ties that can hold your hair back, but we're actually expanding to anything that could keep your hair up while you achieve your goals.
Nice.
So anytime an athlete with long hair or hair that gets in the way that needs it back up, like we're there. That's the vision.
Very cool. I asked that question because like I just find that with an entrepreneur or a content creator or like even just like a general business owner, let's call it, like there's no easy way to box yourself in.
Yeah.
You know? And I get the feeling like you don't want to be boxed in at all.
Well, I know that like I'm so much more than this business.
Cool.
And when people meet me or when I want to meet people, I don't want them to just box me in to this Hairstrong. Like, yes, this business can't survive without me, but I can survive without it. And I'm the type of person to go all in and do my best to make it work. But that's just like what I'm choosing to do right now. And I could do that with other aspects of my life too.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
What other aspects are there to you then?
Well,
how'd you start this business? What's the genesis? Because I know a little bit of the story and I know that there is a lot to you. So
I think, so growing up, I've always played sports and I've always had long hair. Those were two things that you could see pictures grow. Like those are the two similarities. And when I started university, I first year wasn't a part of any sports team. I just did university life, lived in res, and I really missed that part of me and having that outlet to be competitive. And so in my second year, I decided to try out for the rowing team at Western. And the reason why I decided to do that was because I heard they take walk-ons, and if you come without experience, they can train you. All you have to do is pass these fitness tests, which I was extremely nervous about because I was not that fit at the time, or that's what I told myself. But no, cardio-wise, I was not fit. My goal was not to come last in the beep test, and I came last.
Oh no.
Well, someone else went out with me, but it's essentially last. And so the thing that I had going for me was that it's very strong. And so they decided to take a chance on me, bring me on. And I was just so grateful for this opportunity of like, wow, this rowing team. And so with rowing, how it usually works is there's like a novice team for people like me who will get introduced to the sport in university. And then there's the varsity team, which some people have been rowing in high school, which like wasn't in my area. So I never knew it was a thing. But they rowed in high school. They came to university to race. And then most of the very competitive athletes get into at university because it's not as accessible. So I'm doing my first season and I just fall in love with the process. I fall in love with, if I put in work, I get results out. And it was so numbers based because you're on this this machine, this ergometer, and you're just pulling for hours at a time, and it's so monotonous. But I got this this rush of like, oh, I'm improving. Like, this is great. And so within a year, I made the varsity team. And the year after, I was still in it. So I won like a few provincials. I won a national championship, and then I was captain. So like it was really my life. And while I was doing this, I was still doing my undergrad full-time hours and part-time work. So I was spread thin to the max. And all I wanted was to keep my hair up and out of my way. And I didn't have time for it. Like, I didn't have time to make it look good. I just wanted to bun it up and put it up. And everything that I used was advertised as one size fits all, non-slip, non-damaging. And it just didn't work for me. And at that point in my life, I wasn't very confident. And I thought, oh, well, if this doesn't fit me, there's something wrong with me and my hair. And I'm the problem. And if I want to alleviate this pain point, I have to chop my hair off or like figure out a way to change myself to not have this.
The problem.
Yes, exactly. Like that's where it went first. And then I didn't know really what I wanted to do with my undergrad degree. I did it in kinesiology, and my internships in chiropractors and physios, like, it wasn't for me. I knew that wasn't where I wanted to go. And so I did what anyone would do, obviously, is delay the decision and prolong and just go do a master's and then decide later, because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I took this course in entrepreneurship, and it was within kinesiology, because there are some that want to open up their own practice, their own clinic, or whatever that is. So I took this course because I heard the professor was really nice, and I thought it'd be a great way to boost my marks to get into a master's. And I was sitting in class one day, and our professor asked us, what problems do you face every day? And at this point, like my hair was top of mind for me. Like, I'm training 20 to 30 hours a week. I'm working, I'm doing school. So I say like, yeah, I can't keep my hair up in a bun. Like, I can't keep my hair up. And then when we would go around to these pain points around the class, and I saw other people resonate with that exact statement, it clicked where, oh, my hair was never the problem. It was the product. And I was like, wow, I could actually solve this.
You should be allowed to have long hair.
Thank you. Yeah. So I saw that, and like the light bulb moment that you think is like, it was right there. I was like, wow, I can, instead of complaining about this, I can control it, and I can create something that can solve this for me. And so at that point, I'm like, well, if I create this business plan that was for the project, and if I create a prototype, I'll get a high mark and I'll solve my own problem. So obviously I'm going to do that. And so I started playing around with adjustable features on other types of clothing. Like in camping gear, you have rain jackets that have a cinch, you have ropes that you tie up food. And so I'm like, well, if this is present in this space, why can't I bring it to hair accessories or something that can hold up my hair, something that can adjust to you? And so I created my prototype for that class, pitched it, presented it, and was pretty happy with it because I knew I was going to get a high mark, and I solved my own problem. I created this thing. And 2 business advisors from Western actually watched my pitch, coincidentally. And they reached out to me after, messaged me, and were like, you should start a business.
Nice.
And at that point, I'm like, I know nothing. Like my degree's in kin. I have no business acumen. I have all these like limiting beliefs and like this narrative that I told myself of why this could never be possible. And all they had to say was, we'll help you. Like, it's fine that you don't know what you're doing because we're here to help you. And I just said yes. And I took a chance on that. And every week I would come back to their offices saying like, this is my progress. Here's what I'm doing. What's next? Like, what do I go for next? And then they were just there to help me through that. So even though I didn't know what to do, I was still willing to try and put myself out there and capture like what they're, or not capture, but listen to what they're saying and follow this through to see if I could make this work.
Very cool.
And that's just kind of how Hairstrong started.
That's how it all began. Unreal. So you said a few things in there that kind of I thought about, because for me, it's like you didn't have business acumen, you said, but you've been running this business now for what, 6 years? 7?
It'll be 7 in May.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's
thank
like,
you.
what's the stat? Like 70% of businesses go out of business after 5 years or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's
don't
crazy.
know. Yeah.
And you've been doing it with one product, which is even like wilder, realistically. And you figured it out. But you also said that your schedule was super jammed in university. So you kind of told the story of like your undergrad, and then you skipped to the master's degree. And then the master's degree was when you figured out the problem that you dealt with for 4 years.
Sorry. So the conception of this idea was in my 4th year of undergrad.
Okay.
And I actually used it to get into my master's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I did my master's in international business at Ivy.
Gotcha.
With the intention of, this will help me with my business.
I see. I thought it was like a business project.
It was in my undergrad. But
okay.
the course was within kinesiology, that department.
That's so interesting. So was this like an entrepreneurship class that you could take as
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of neat. They love to, do they use you for case studies? And
yes.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
You're like, this is the reason why we did this. This is like a perfect. But I would say like the interesting thing, like, so on the business acumen side of it and sort of like the chaos of like managing your busy schedule, like there's like that stereotype maybe that like goes around that like if you didn't still have a business or you weren't entrepreneurial when you were younger, like then you're not a business owner or like whatever. But as an athlete, I kind of feel like that almost nullifies that statement, because I like to think that as an athlete, you're like the business of yourself. So like you're entrepreneurial in that pursuit. Do you think that's a fair thing to say? And do you think that like the rowing chaos and journey of that is what set you up to be able to not shy away from this new challenge of Hairstrong?
Long story short, yes.
Okay.
But to give you details on that, I think there's so much overlap between being an athlete and striving to become the best athlete and then business. And the main difference between the two is that within athletics, it's been around for so long, and each sport has had time where you will have the systems and processes in place, and you have a coach and you have a team and you have the environment there to help you succeed. And within the business side, when you're alone, you have to figure that out for yourself. But in terms of character traits, like, no, I've never really thought that I had business acumen or would have been successful in it because I didn't have the experience, but I had the traits. Like growing up, I loved problem solving. I loved figuring out how to get stuff done. I was extremely resourceful. And I did do things like I did do a lemonade stand because I'm like, oh, that's so fun.
Actually?
I did.
No way.
Of course.
Wow.
And then,
how old were you?
Oh gosh, probably grade 4 or 5.
Wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I remember this one time I put posters up on the Canada Post like mailbox of this singing concert, and I was charging my neighbors to be there and watch me sing.
How many people did you get?
I didn't end up showing up.
Oh, I took the money and ran.
I think I was gonna take the money like at the concert.
Oh.
It's like, hey, this is your entrance fee, but just small things like that where I'm like, oh, okay, like I can make money doing stuff, and it'll work. And I think not really focusing on that, but then going onto the rowing side, like you need a lot of mental perseverance to be doing the same thing every single day without an immediate reward. That's one thing that like carries over for sure into entrepreneurship. Another thing is like choosing to do the hard thing and rather than choosing the easy thing. Because in my undergrad, as soon as I chose rowing, I still had friends who weren't rowers. And so they were still going out every weekend. They were still doing all of the things that they wanted to do, but it no longer aligned with my goals. And so I had to choose my goals over FOMO. And I had to choose that this was more important than missing out on these events that didn't necessarily align anymore. And I did become distant with some of my friends, and that was hard. But at the same time, it's like I have these goals that I want to get. And I know that if I don't do everything I can, I'm putting those goals at a disservice from not doing that. Like it was part of my lifestyle, and that's who I wanted to become. And with entrepreneurship, same kind of mentality where this is now going to be my life, and how do I make it work, or how do I give it the best chance to succeed? And yes, there's like sometimes I'll make decisions that don't necessarily align with that goal, but for 80 to 90% of the time, I'm like locked in.
Interesting. Do you there's a lot in there that like I could ask about, because I'm super curious on the mindset piece of it. Did you ever I'm trying to phrase it in like a nice way, because it's like you have these friends that you're super close to, but at the same time you're like, I'm either too busy for you, or I don't align with like what you're doing, or like that. But I know you don't mean it that way, but I feel like sometimes it can be confused with that.
In life, there's like so many seasons of different phases. Yeah, different seasons and different phases of your life. And I think when you do the same phases with the people around you, you end up doing the same things. And so there's a reason why you can be so close, is because you're all aligned towards this one thing. So in university, my first year, I was going out every weekend, and my friends who wanted the same things would go out with me, and we'd do these things together. And then when I started rowing, I had a new goal. Like I had a new season or phase in my life that people around me weren't necessarily part of. So it was also selfish of me to think that they would change their life to mimic mine, or to have this goal when it was my goal. And so then that's when I made friends within the rowing space, because if we're all going into the same goal, like that's who I need to surround myself with. It wasn't necessarily that this lifestyle or like drinking's beneath me. It's just, it doesn't align anymore with this goal. And now with this like entrepreneurial journey, it's like it's taking all of me. Like I actually just don't have the bandwidth for that. Like I love going out with my friends. I love doing that stuff. And I would never say that it was beneath me, but my goals it just doesn't align. And I have to make the conscious decision between choosing my goals versus choosing to also fill other parts of my life that I say is important. And even though those parts of my life are important, I just don't give as much time to it. And I'm just like very aware of that. So for the month, I have to be very intentional with saying, okay, these are the hours I'm going to spend towards my business. But if I still want to maintain those connections, and if I still want those people in my life, I have to show them that. I have to show up. And if it was the case where we totally didn't align, where we're like totally different views, we don't appreciate the same things, then yeah, the conversation or the actions would be taken to go that route of like maybe not being connected anymore. But I love my friends. Like they're some of the best people. They have always supported me in everything that I've done. And it always comes from a very good place of like, we just want to spend time with you. We like being with you. And I agree with that sentiment as well. I just know that right now I can't afford with my time to spend as much time as I would like to, because I know I need it to grow this business, and it needs me.
Is that still the case today? Or have you found a different way to navigate that sort of like relationship dynamic with people around you?
I think like when I was first making decisions based on like my business and even rowing, it was always around what people thought of me. So when I started rowing, anytime that I wanted to quit or that I wanted to step off the brakes, I was reminding myself that I couldn't, because people would say that I'm not trying hard enough or I'm like quitting. And I didn't want that. And so I let that drive my decisions of like, no, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep going forward. And when I first started the business, when I first announced it and let everyone know, it was like, oh, well, I said I was going to do this, so I have to do this. Like I said this to people, like this is going to happen. And that was beginning what drove my decisions. But now I'm looking at it more internally motivating, as like, it's not only just what other people think of me, even though that's what got me into it at first, which I'm very grateful for. Now it's, I need to prove this to myself and I need to make this decision because this is what's best for me and my life. And I'm the only one that is looking out for my life.
Very
Not
cool.
to say that others around me aren't. Like, sure, they care about me, but I have this one job and it's my life right now. And to become like the best person that I can or want to be. And I believe that this is the path for that. And I have to just like follow through on that.
Badass. Are there days you want to quit?
Every day. No, well,
That was fast.
that was so fast. Well, what I mean to say that is like those thoughts come up often.
Yeah.
I just don't give them weight as much as I used to, or like
That's what I was expecting.
I don't let them hold me back as much. Of course, I like want to relax or like sit down and chill, and I do build some spots into my week and my days where I do unwind. Like it's not go all the time for sure, but any path that I choose, there will be problems with it, and there will be something to complain about, and there will be a downside. And I'm aware of that because we're always like wanting to choose a path where it's like, oh, I could have done this or I could be doing this, thinking of all the good things. But we normally don't think of all the bad things that come with that. And with this path, like, yeah, it's humbling every single day, but I'm choosing it because I know that this will be the best path for me. Whether or not it's the right one, it doesn't matter because I'm choosing it, I'm making it the right one.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
You can't, trying to remember the expression now, but it's like, you can't pick, I can't remember what it is, but the essence of it is like, you have to make the wrong path right. If
Yes.
that's the decision that you're trying to make
Like
for
you
yourself.
make the right path.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess winding back just a little bit then, when did you decide for real that this was going to be your path? Like, was it as simple as like those business mentors in the program like told you that this should be a business and you were like, done, like we're going to go do it? Or was there a moment after that where there was like a business confirmation where you knew that this was actually like something you were to have this mentality, like you were prepared to be this passionate about it?
I think it just came in little bits throughout my journey with it. There was I can't really think of one moment where I'm like, this is my thing. I'm sure I'm going to do this. I have all the data I need to make this decision and make sure it's the best one. It never really happened like that. It was just moments of getting really good customer reviews, getting really cool opportunities thrown my way, seeing how this is forcing me to become the person that I say I want to become. And so when I had this on my plate and I was balancing with so many other commitments, I wasn't really doing it justice because I wasn't going all in. And I was just scattered. Like I had all these different goals going on at the same time. And then I knew that if I kept choosing to distract myself from like the problems of the business, it would never grow and be into what I think it could be in like my vision. And so 1.5 years ago, I made the decision not to like look for another job, not to find something else.
1.5 years ago.
1.5 years
Wow.
ago. So 1.5 years ago, I went like, no other streams of income. I'm sticking to this.
Cool.
And I'm going to go all in. And for me, it was like, if I don't make sales or if I don't make it work, then it will actually put enough pressure where I'm like, oh, I can't ignore this anymore. Like I have to figure this out. The economics have to make sense. So it was no longer just me grinding to grind or working hard just to say I worked hard. It was like, I need to work smarter now. I need to figure out how to become the entrepreneur that is able to do strategy well.
Nice.
And put a return on my effort rather than just working hard.
Yeah. And grinding. Like, it's interesting because I faced a similar problem recently with like my video business because like it was I developed a good habit of like I know how to approach a client cold or hot or whatever, and then based on if it was cold or hot, like I knew what I needed to do to then close that work. So it was like if I was a retainer short from like my income goal for the month, I was like, cool, like this is what I need to do, like let's go find another one. But at the same time, it's like I had obviously the new business goal drop and these passion projects that I was still pursuing behind the scenes. And I was like, if I can just hit that income goal every month and then I'll worry about this thing. Right. And it was always like this income goal, this income goal, this income goal, and then the actual thing that I want to build for myself. And what was really interesting is like the income goal was absurd as an income goal, but it was because I was shuttling money into other passion projects.
Right.
And it was like the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
the new business, like other travel things that I needed for photography, like whatever. And then it's just like, no wonder the income goal is so absurd, because like you're so spread thin on all these things, but you're like, well, I'm a builder and this is going to work and you're going to figure it out and something's going to happen. But it's true. Like you have to, I don't want to say prioritize, because it's almost like triaging. Like it's like you have to pick the thing that builds the other things, and then eventually it'll work out. But that initial thing has to be scalable,
Yeah.
you know, versus like, I'm going to do an Ironman and start a business and take these photos. And it's just like, where do you end up?
Yeah, you only have so much time, and you could do all of those things, and you have, and it's not that you're not capable of doing them. It's just that you have to decide whether you have the capacity to do them well. And when I was in my undergrad, like I was balancing this business, work, rowing, and school. And so I could never get 90s. I was only like 80s, which is still pretty good, but I could never get that extra bit because I didn't have the time to put in there. With rowing, like I could not put any more time into recovery and eating because I was working. Like I couldn't become the best version of me there. I couldn't go super deep into that because of all these other things on my plate. And with Hairstrong, same thing. Like I had all these other commitments that, yes, I was doing well in terms of time blocking, but I also had to accept the fact that I had so much on my plate. I could only take this so far with as much I was willing to give.
Right.
And so even now, looking at removing the distractions and having this one goal and seeing what will happen, it's giving me a lot of room to just focus on this.
Nice.
Just that pure focus was a big step.
Yeah. So was there, so that's really interesting, because I didn't actually know that over the last year and a half. I had assumed this was your sole thing since then.
Since I started it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Wow. I literally, from the outside looking in, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, was there like an income threshold that you hit then where you knew that like, okay, this amount is doable, I just need to maintain it, and then this? Or were you just kind of like, no, I will do this and it will work?
The latter.
Nice.
I worked for as much as I needed to make things work, and then the rest of my time was the business.
Cool.
But it wasn't ever, oh, I need $5,000 a month to live. It was, oh, I made like 3, or I made 4, or I made 5 this month. Okay, I'll make it work this month with that. Like it was never, there was a goal. It's just, how do I get this business to grow? Which again, it just goes to show that I wasn't very numbers focused, and I wasn't metric focused. And now that's changed because my business needs that from me if it's going to scale. If it's like, you can't manage what you don't measure.
Right.
And I'm like measuring everything now. I'm like, I cannot let it be that I let a month go by without hitting, like 2 months go by without hitting my sales goals. Like it needs to happen or it will die.
Yeah.
Like there's no choice. I have to make this work.
Yeah, it's like, now what?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. That's like very, I know it sounds dumb to say, but like that's very like weathered. Like it's not a mature perspective. It's like, you've been through shit.
Yeah.
To like now have that mentality. It's cool. That's really like, it's very wise, I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Like, wow. So what's the last year and a half then looked like for you? What's been like, where were you at the start and where are you now, and what's changed?
My whole perspective on like working hard versus strategically with my time. I think the biggest thing with business, and I'll say everyone to like this hurdle, is the mental aspect. The things that you tell yourself, whether or not they're productive or conducive to success, are true because that's what you're telling yourself. And so it's constantly waking up and deciding and being intentional. What am I going to believe today? Like, what am I going to follow through on today? And because there's the only real accountability I have is myself, because I don't have a co-founder. It's like, I have to do that every single day. And that's what's the hardest thing. Like, who am I going to show up today? Or who am I going to show up as today? Who am I going to show up as tomorrow? Who does my business need for me? Like, I have to constantly think about that and be intentional with it. And I can't do that by just relying on motivation or just saying, oh, I'll just work 10 hours a day, because it doesn't work like that. I needed to step back and think of, okay, well, what's working in this business? What's bringing the biggest return? How can I go to the next level? What does that look like? do I want to be grinding like this forever? The answer is no. Like there needs to be another stop. Like it's not that I don't want to work hard. It's not that I don't need to. It's just there needs to be a purpose and I need to have a return on what I'm doing. I can't just work hard just to work hard because then at the end of the day, no one cares unless you have results. And I don't have the results yet that I want, so no one cares. And that's just like the reality that I'm at. Like work hard. But I always thought, and I attributed my spot in life or like where I'm at in my business because of we're hardworking hard enough. So I'm like, let's work longer hours. Let's do more things. But it was never that. It was my inability to pick a strategy and just execute on that for a long period of time and measuring that and pivoting from that and using data to make those decisions. So I would just like be working to work. And
we all fall into that.
It's just tough because that's what I'm like, that's what you feel good about, but it's fake. But I don't want to say like you don't need it because you do. Doing that makes you realize that you need to think strategically in my position.
Yeah.
Because again, in rowing, like you're given the plan. You're like, you need this many hours of this zone at this level. Like you have all that. So you just follow that. But here you have to choose what plan to7follow. And not only do you have to follow through on that plan, you have to believe that that's the right plan. And that all comes from like the mental aspect, because it may not be the right plan, but you have to do it to figure that out. You can't just doubt it from the onset, because then of course it's not the right plan if you're going to doubt it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the hardest part. So in terms of like going like all in is really telling myself daily, like, you are the right person for this. There's no other option. Even if that weren't true, you're doing yourself a disservice thinking anything else. And so you are the right person for this. You need to figure out how to make this work. Look at the numbers, look at the data, look at the trends, talk to your customers, and let that guide your decision making, not the fleeting thoughts and feelings that you have in your mind.
Okay. There's like two things I want to say about that. The one thing I really am curious about is then the state of the business, since sort of this like mentality has really taken hold, let's say. But the one thing that I want to share is I listened to an interview, and I believe it's Apollo Ono, the figure skater, the male Hawaiian figure skater. And one of my favorite podcasts is the Rich Roll podcast. I don't know if you've ever listened to it. I'm going to send it to you. Like, literally, he is the best. He was an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah.
Former alcoholic, went to AA, like ran ultra marathons at like 45 years old. Like he's like unreal. Anyway, so he was interviewing Apollo Ono, and he was saying how his coaches would give him programs, and he would look at the programs, and like Rich Roll's interviewed like a ton of Olympians and like all these different people, and he basically was just like, everybody follows the programs to a T. They get as much sleep as they need and whatever. And then if you stray from the program, more often than not, you either burn out, you don't recover correctly, you don't get the results you want, and then you go, well, you didn't do the program right. But Apollo Ono would like double the program. Like he would basically like, there was this, I can't remember where the hill was, but there was like this hill, I think it was in Hawaii. There was a hill in Hawaii that had like this huge staircase, and they would do their, it wasn't figure skating, it was speed skating. And I'm pretty sure I'm messing this up now, but they would do the speed skating workouts. And then after the speed skating sessions, he would like run up this staircase after the session to burn himself out and then go to bed and then like do it again. And he just increased this volume. And what the conversation was about is that like he had this way to acknowledge that the plan he was given by the coaches they were never able to calibrate it exactly for what this individual needed. And it was interesting because it's like, there's like a level of exceptionalism, I think, that comes with professional athletes that is very hard to find in like a regular person. And so they are a caliber, like they're a step away from like the day-to-day rhythms. But then there's like the exceptional athlete, right? That's like, that is one of the best. And the speed skater obviously is. And then their own ability to realize like what they require. And that's that self-belief that you were talking about, is like, even when the plan's right in front of you to be like, this is what you need to win Olympic gold. Like that individual had so much like gumption, like I don't even know what the word is, like confidence to just be like, I need more to get to where I need to go. And there's a level of insanity with that. Like I think like he would like roller skate to the rink, and like he would just do crazy stuff just to always be skating. And I don't know where that comes from. And I don't know how you build the proof points like internally to figure out what you actually need to like win in your field. You know what I mean? But I get the feeling that you've started to figure that out as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough, right? Because there's always two sides to it. Like, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm right? And if I base my decisions based off those two criteria, like, of course, I'm going to be paralyzed with indecision or knowing if this is the right or wrong, if that's the end goal. But what I've realized is that it doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong because I'll keep moving forward and I'll figure it out. And so even growing up in like the school system that we're in, you're rewarded for following the plan. You're rewarded for following a rubric. You get an A. If you get this criteria, you get a B, C, D. So you're striving for that A. You're always striving to look up to getting that validation from your teacher. And like you're looking for that validation in your decisions afterwards because you're not given opportunities to practice that yourself and to mess up and to fine tune your own judgment. And at the end of the day, yes, you could have a plan that was proven to get someone to an Olympic gold. And you could be doing that and you could be following that. But only you would know if that plan is enough to get to where your goals are. And that's where your own judgment comes in. And if you don't put yourself in situations where you're constantly fine-tuning it, where you're constantly testing it, you'll lose it. Because if you're just going off of what other people are saying, it may or may not be the best for you. And it takes experience and it takes like practicing that deliberately and intentionally because there's not a lot of opportunity to do that. And entrepreneurship is one way to do that. Like I don't have anyone telling me what to do. I could go to mentors and ask, hey, what are your thoughts on this based on your experience? But at the end of the day, it's my business and I have to make a decision that's either taking in their input or not. And I have to create that. And if I'm going into it being like, oh, well, I have to get this right, then it's just adding more pressure that I don't need. Well, it's like, instead, I'm going to say, based on all my experiences, my hypothesis is this. I'm going to test this. Whether I'm right or wrong is not the point. Of course, I'd love to be right, but to think that I will get it right might not be realistic. And to put that pressure on myself when that's not necessarily the goal is doing the goal a disservice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's like just essentially like enjoy the journey. Like is what you can chalk it up to in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to be okay with the journey at the same time as enjoying it.
But also like resetting expectations of why you think a journey should look a certain way.
Right.
And having this vision of, oh, it's going to go like this and then this and then this, but really you don't know because you haven't done it. Like you're on this path that's no one's been on because it's yours.
Right.
And you're carving it out for yourself and thinking that it should look a certain way. It's just like clouding that image of what it could be. Like it could be this or it could be so much greater too. So there's that.
Yeah. It's the expectations we put on ourselves, right? So then I'm curious how, like what really in the business has changed over the last year and a half of you making this decision?
Well, it did grow.
Cool.
I want to say
how much?
Well, percentage wise, I could say 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say numbers because I'm kind of so embarrassed of where I'm at.
Oh, don't.
But that's
why?
like me being very critical.
Yeah. No worries about that.
But yeah, it grew over 100%.
Very cool. I think that deserves.
Quarter. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly. That's literally though. That's so huge because of everything you just said.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's like there's your validation right there. Now go run. Like,
well, the other thing, the one that's even greater than that though, yes, like numbers are good because I've been able to put more time into it, but it was also realizing, okay, if I'm putting this amount of hours in, I expect this outcome or this result. And if I'm not getting that, what do I have to change to get there? So if let's say my each hour is worth like $100 an hour, how do I get each of my hours worth $200, $300, $400 an hour? And what do I have to do? And so that's where the idea came of like, what else can I do? How else can I make this a better business? And it's introducing this idea of like, not just this one product that does the job, but like of everything that someone could use with the idea of if you need your hair up for something that's so important in your life, like it shouldn't be a worry to put it back. It's like, well, you can come to us, like anything you need to keep your hair back, to focus and keep your performance 100%, like we're there. And that's what we want to do. Cause I find that within this industry, it's very aesthetic based, in terms of how the product looks, but it needs to function well to make you look good. And that's the niche that I want to carve into. So yes, I'm doing athletes right now and like focusing on sports, but there's also so many other avenues and jobs that people require their hair back for safety reasons, not just performance. And you want to look good while doing that. And so that's where I see Hairstrong filling the gap.
Very nice. So is that big product roadmap for 2026 or 27, do you think?
Both.
Nice.
Both. Yeah. So both for that. Again, and then being patient of knowing like, yes, I've done this long I've been in this business for this long, but knowing that these changes will take time, just like my mindset needed to change. It took time. And so to not rush that, but to look at the data and follow it.
Yeah. You have to be objective about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's then some big activations you've done over the last year and a half that maybe wouldn't have been possible if you were only half in?
I went to the Paris Olympics, so in 2024, because we had over 200 athletes with
Was
Hairstrong.
that at the start of you going all in?
A few months after. So I went, it was May, and then that was August.
Cool.
And
how'd you figure that one out? Sorry, now I'm interrupting.
What do you mean?
Like, how'd you get there?
Like I bought a plane ticket.
And you just went?
Yeah.
Like you were just like, no invite. You were just like,
yeah.
Wow. And I mean, but this is what it takes. Like actually aircanada.com. But weren't you in like the Canada House and stuff? Like,
yeah.
Wow. And you just were allowed to walk in. I don't know how the Olympics works in truth, if I'm being honest.
No, that's fair. Each time it's run, I think it's a bit different. But when I went, it was each country had their own house. So there was a Canada House that you could buy a ticket to enter. Like
Gotcha.
The public was allowed in there.
See, I thought it was invite only. That's why I'm asking.
Well, the US one used to be, and then their tickets to get in were so high per day.
Wow.
It was like $500, $500 US a day to go in there. And I did not do that. I stood outside of it.
You're like, hey, everybody.
Like I just did things because I knew I didn't have money to do that. And like, well, how could I do this the best that I can anyways? And so I showed up, put myself in an environment where opportunities would come about and like be there and be there to capture it.
Yeah.
And so, I flew there. I remember posting on my Instagram, asking for help for accommodation because all of the hotels were so expensive.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then I ended up staying with a friend there.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was such a blessing because she made it so welcoming for me. And I was like, obviously a bit nervous. I'm like, going to this country, I don't speak French very well.
Yeah.
Or like 90% it's not there.
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm going to all these places that I've never done. Like I'm doing something I've never done before, but I know that every time I've done something I've never done, I've figured it out. But I'm coming here and like, she just made the experience so nice and so lovely. And I'm just like so grateful for her.
It's a Western friend?
I met her through CrossFit Space. And
nice.
Yeah, that was actually the first time we met in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which was also a risk.
It was like an Instagram friend.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And like
even better.
Yeah. And I was like, this could turn out really, really good or not so good, but I'm going to choose that it's going to be really, really good. And it was.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So like literally that is not what I thought happened at all. Like that's crazy from following you. I'm like, oh wow, they must have like loved her product and like asked her to come. Like
no, I invited myself.
That's unreal. So, okay. So I know I asked you for 3 things, but like what was the end outcome then? Like, cause I'm sure you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. Like what's sort of the punchline of the story? Like what's like, if somebody says to you, like what happened at the Paris Olympics, how do you respond?
I had a chance to like see athletes in real life with my product. And that was really cool at the elite level, like people who are training to do the best in what their sport is. And what I'm saying, I'm going to help you get there. That was really nice. Incredible. And then similar to, I guess, like what you just said, like, oh, that's not exactly what I thought happened. Saying that I even did that afterwards, like opened so many doors because it showed people that I was just the person to get stuff done.
Yeah, you're serious.
And so that was just another proof point of like who I am as a person and what I'm willing to do to put things into fruition or like bring things to life. And so it just opened up so many different conversations. I met so many different people, revenue opportunities, all of that because I did that.
Amazing. Cool. That's like, are you allowed to shout out Olympians that you met? No.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
That's okay.
a lot of the ones were at the Canada House.
Cool.
So all the Canadian ones I met, and then I met one of the USA rugby players out for coffee. Like I took her out for coffee. Yeah, so it was just like meeting them here and there.
Yeah. Unreal. And so then two other things, because I'm curious. Like that's like huge.
I partnered with U Sports
Okay.
back in the beginning of September, which is the university the organization that oversees national championships for university sport in Canada. And so they partnered, with different sporting organizations, different universities to host championships and then bring up student athletes to funnel into the Olympic programs. Like it's all part of the funnel. And so I partnered with them beginning of September, and I'm able to like go to the championships now and introduce athletes to the product, get it into their hands, doing all that. And that was really special too, because as a student athlete myself at the university level, creating this product out of my frustrations and now being on the side where I'm like helping these athletes now give them better gear, because at the end of the day, it should be looked at as gear.
Yeah. Like
hair is usually an afterthought, but if 90% of these female athletes have long hair, like it needs to be at the forefront. Like you cannot do your sport with hair in your face. It's ridiculous. And so I'm here now solving this issue. So there was another great opportunity. And then living in Toronto for a bit last summer for the accelerator program that I did. It was one of the best mindset founder programs that I've ever done, really forcing me to think bigger and questioning how I'm living my life.
Very cool.
And is this the most that I want to do, or do I want more out of my life? And that's only for me to decide, and I have to act upon that. And then that program really fueled that to you can do this, and you can show up for more, and you can do what you say you want to do.
So that was that halfway through this year and a half, or what time period was that?
No, it was, so I technically it started in January 2024,
Okay.
but the in-person component of it was started in May 2024, and that's when
you made the decision.
That was the month.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I went in. Yeah,
Unreal.
So it was like with the help of this program to like do this.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say what the program was?
Oh yeah, of course. They're called Next.
Okay.
Next Canada.
Oh, okay.
And they have 3 different programs now, which is like they call Next 36, Next AI, and Next Founders. And they'll bring in different people for the different programming types that they have. But their programming, like the educational aspect, was unreal. The people that they brought in, the events they hosted, the opportunities through that as well. It's just like surrounding yourself with people who can get stuff done and like access to different doors. And that's I'm so grateful for that experience.
Interesting. Did you meet a ton of new people and make new friends as well?
Oh yeah. It's cool because it's another spot where you get to meet people who have similar goals to you. Maybe you're not all working on the same business, but you have your own business, and that you have similar values on like what you're spending your time on and how you want to spend your time and who you want to show up as. And so that you inspire each other to be better.
Very cool. Did you see any stories there that you thought like that blew your mind while you were there, or was it all?
They're all incredible people.
Cool.
There. It's amazing. It's very inspiring to look to, and to be working alongside of them was special.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's that community mindset, right? On the community note, we're both members of Founders Club. What's been when did you I'm trying to phrase it in a way that's like one chapter closes in a way, like did you ever have a time maybe through COVID where you were like the solo founder, and then you realized that wasn't going to work anymore, and then you decided to join something like Founders Club, or you really made an effort to create your own little group around you, or like, was there any light switch that went off there, or were you always sort of community first?
Well, I think when I looked back to all the other times in my life that I had success, and primarily rowing, like there's a lot of proof points and data points that I have with my rowing season. And I was looking at that thinking, okay, well, what made that successful? What were the components that I had there that I need to bring over here that worked for me? And one was the environment. So doing the training hours that we were doing, eating the food we were eating, going to bed at like 9 p.m., all of that was normal. Like if you didn't do that, you weren't committed. And so I knew I needed to join a space where what I was doing was normal. It wasn't out of the ordinary. It wasn't, oh, you're crazy for doing this. Oh, like this doesn't make sense. It was being in a group where people understood that what we're doing, there's a purpose behind it, and to continue fueling yourself to do that. And so I knew I needed that. And so in terms of like being part of communities, like I've been a part of a few incubator programs, accelerator programs to try and bring entrepreneurs around me and bring bigger mindsets around me to like help me get from where I am today to where I want to go. And then the Founders Club I joined because I really looked up to Aaron and what he built with Hush. And I'm like, well, if he's starting this group with people who also look up to him, like I also want to be part of that. And so that's initially why I joined too, because it's like great people bringing great people around you. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And so that's why I decided to join the Founders Club. And I met some like amazing people through there, and I've made like really strong friendships with that too. And now I have like a weekly accountability partner with me through that program. Like just because like otherwise I wouldn't have had the reason to talk to them otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a good excuse.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a random DM and you're like, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a way to bridge the gap.
Yeah. But yeah, but with that being said, like this person and I, like we've known each other on social for so long because we were both like in a similar industry, like just like the fitness space. And then it wasn't until this group where we're like, hey, like let's hold each other accountable to what we're doing. And then we started getting closer, which was really cool.
Nice. So, because that's the one thing, like, do you have something like that with Next too? Like, do you still keep in touch and maybe have like a bi-weekly call with people that you knew that just like keep each other accountable?
Honestly, no.
But it's super helpful.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that likes to dive deep into relationships, like not necessarily have many of them. And with Next and the people that I met there are some people that I will keep in touch with, and I do have that. I will put in the effort to maintain that connection, but I don't choose to do that with everyone that was there because I give so much. And so I have to really, I want to choose who to give that to. And so that's why it's like, yes, like I'm still very friendly and like we'll see each other at events, we'll catch up, all of that. But in terms of like consistently keeping up those connections, like there's only so much energy and room that I can give. And right now the people in my life, like I want to give it to them. And so it's tough balancing that.
Yeah. Have you found that with the relationships like particularly close to you that like maybe you're not as present as you would hope to be, and now this is like an effort that you really need to make?
I think there's some times where I'm with them physically where my mind is somewhere else, like because there's something stressful happening in the business. But I think I do a very good job actually of being present with them. If I'm like if I choose to spend my time maintaining this connection, I will be there because that's what I would want from someone like me. Or like not someone like, but that's what I would want from a friendship or anything. So it's like, if that's what I'm expecting from them, like I do need to give that. And so if I'm choosing to take these hours to do that, I should be there. Otherwise, like, why am I going? Or why am I doing that?
That's fair. Is there someone in your life that's been a huge support system for you? Or is it really like your own?
No. Even though I'm solo, like I usually say like, yes, I'm here for the day-to-day decisions, but so many people around me have helped me and have offered a helping hand. Like I would not be where I am today without those people, and I will always be very thankful for them. Like my friends have always been supportive of me. Maybe some of them are just like, what are you doing? Like I want more for you. Like, why are you suffering? I don't want you to suffer like this. But they only want the best for me, and that's who I keep around.
Nice.
And then like my family's been supportive too. Like, yes, they want the best for me as well. And they're like, are you sure about this? Blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like it's my life, and they're choosing to respect that and support me through that while I figure things out in my life and figure out how to like make this even bigger than it is. And so, yeah. And then these like incubators, accelerators, they've always been super helpful, very supportive, and mentors, and then other people in the industry. Like I just reach out and they really are, they do want to help. They do want to give back. And yeah, it's just been so great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it alone.
No,
Takes a
absolutely not.
village.
Absolutely not.
So another then curiosity of mine, because you keep referencing back to rowing. Are you still an athlete? Do you have fitness goals? Is this like, because I know you were in a CrossFit for a while.
Yeah. I think in terms of my fitness goals, they're not top priority, which they were before. Like I would say, oh yeah, Hairstrong, but where my time was being spent, it was on fitness. And so I couldn't lie or overlook that. And so I knew that I have the tendency to make fitness priorities over everything else. And so knowing that about myself right now, it's just figuring out how to fit it into my life rather than it being my life. Because I need to make money now. Like I need to scale, like I need to build the life that I want. And it's not just going to be working out.
Gotcha.
And so, yes, I'm like, I would view myself as an athlete or someone who does prioritize fitness and health over other things. But am I competitive right now? No, because that side of me needs to be present in my business more than anything.
Fair game. How much Nick Bear do you follow?
Oh, insane.
How does he do it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow him. Like I don't like religiously follow him or anything, but I like see clips here and there because that's how I train my algorithm to show me that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think you just choose it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like every time I see it, I'm just like, how are you? Like, how up to date are you on the Ironman stuff?
No, that I would know.
Oh yeah. Like I'll listen to the podcast every so often because like he does repeat some stuff every like whatever, but he'll do like Ironman prep updates. And I'm like, I'm curious like where he's at. And then he'll like talk about how like, I think it's like a 90-kilometer cycling ride in the morning. And then like maybe he'll throw in some weights at lunch and then he'll go for a run in the afternoon. And I'm just like, the systems that you need in place to be able to dip in and out of the training. Yeah. Like wild. Yeah. Like when you actually think about it, you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. And like, I think probably at this part of his season, like in the business and everything, like he has people that like can fill in those times because you do need to do it all. I'm still not there yet. So I can't imagine just like being peace out. Like I'm going to go on this ride. Like I can't do that.
170 kilometer bike ride right now.
Like for some things that you just need to put in time. Yeah. And I don't have the time for it.
The interesting part for me is like in my journey, building my photo video business and then obviously being, I want to say like primarily a consultant because like inevitably that's where I ended up specializing. I couldn't consult unless I was an active practitioner. So like when I felt like I really had good momentum in this creative business was when my social media presence was growing super rapidly. Like I knew exactly what I needed to post. I knew exactly what clients needed to post. And I would give a client a recommendation and they were like, done, because you're growing, we're going to grow. Like it was like proof of concept, right? And that was the basis for my business. Then the thing that like stayed in my mind is like someone like Nick Bear who like sells supplements, right? Is an athlete and knows what an athlete needs. If that individual stops being an athlete, or if there are people in the company, right, on like a broader corporate culture level that aren't athletes that are like selling supplements, like I just have a hard time believing that like it's gonna work, right? Because like you have to be in that mindset. So my my question then is like, how do you develop your product concepts, and like where does that sort of vision for the future come from now, since you do have these new plans coming forward? Like what's your inspiration for Hairstrong?
Well, even when I started this first product, like I was never a scrunchy person. Like I didn't like them. I thought they were too girly. It didn't really signal how serious I was about athletics and how I wanted to prioritize fitness in my life. And I really did create this type of product because it wasn't as damaging as what I created before. And the fabric had functional reasoning behind it. And so I really did create it out of a functional need, what I heard from product testing from my customers. So even now, like the reason why I'm expanding this vision is because I'm getting this feedback from my customers who I'm selling to now. Like, so even though I don't necessarily need to align with that, it's like, well, they might have a point. Like I've just pigeonholed myself into this one SKU and this one product, really trying to solve this one product with or solve this problem with this one product, but there's so many ways that you could do that. And then in this space, it's beauty related. So everyone has their own way of expressing themselves and their identity and how they do things with their like external features like their hair. And so for me to not also explore those other options, like I'm also doing the goal or the vision a disservice. And so I really do see myself taking in like customer feedback, continuously being in the loop with them and like getting their pain points and their viewpoints and bringing it into the product lines rather than just my own. Because my own is limiting as well, and there's biases there. And so constantly getting feedback, talking to customers and like living with that, or like living this problem through them too, to develop other products, because I get recommendations from them all the time. I just have to like listen.
Did you realize like the level of self-awareness is like, you're like, okay, settle down.
Oh, I have no lack of that. I just have, it's like I have to act on it, you know? Yeah.
It's sharp. Like it's really refreshing, because I think just like I've talked to like other content creators that are starting businesses, and like not to like knock on it, but like you are so like you are very in tune, and it's like, okay, you got it. So if it's a matter of acting, like I feel like for me that's been the easy part, like because if you know what to act on, then just go do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's figuring out what to act on.
Yeah. So then last question, because I know you got to go. What are some exciting things happening towards the end of the year, the early parts of next year that you're allowed to share with us to keep people excited?
So I ordered inventory late for Black Friday, so I got it in literally Monday. And
right from Vancouver to
and with launching a product, you need time for photo shoots, all that. There's no time for that. Yeah. So I will be flying on the seat of my pants like I usually am, trying to get this out. So I'm launching all these new colors that people wanted. It's so crazy to me because when I launched, I didn't have any neutrals. So people were like, where are the neutrals? And then I launched neutrals and they're like, where are the bright colors? Okay, so I'm keeping neutrals and doing seasonal brights. Got it. And then so that I'm launching all the colors next week, using AI to help me make product images. It's fine. Like I'll figure it out. Yeah. And then that's a whole other conversation that if we had time for, we can dive into, but it's like at this point where it's like where I'm at, what I have to define what good enough is. And this is what I'm choosing to be good enough, because I'd rather have sales with like not perfect pictures than no sales with maybe perfect pictures. And so there's that. And then based on feedback from like, I had this one silk collection, and we're launching a new line that's like silk, but you can sweat in it. So if you want like the elegant look, but you don't want the actual silk fabric, because one, it's very delicate. It's hard to take care of. People are sweating in it and it's not the best. Like I'm like, this is for sleep or for work, but people are working out in it, which is fine. But if that's what you're going to do in it, let me at least find you a better product or fabric. And so it's a like silk or silk imitate. I think I said that word right. And so that's launching after Black Friday. Again, the goal would have been before, but it's not going to happen. So I'm going to do this whole marketing play for after. Great stocking stuffer, great for sleep, all of that. And then in the new year, there's other types of ways that we could like help you with keeping your hair up, and that we're going to launch, and those will be a secret.
Nice. Yeah. Those will remain a secret.
Yeah.
But if we do a part 2, then you can share.
I could.
So awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time. I'll let you get to your meeting.
Yeah, no problem.
Amazing. I'm glad we got to do this.
Me too, Brock.